Hardcore Lies.
Hey guys, Rob from Georgia here with you, aka VHS82 apostrophe. I'm your regular Wednesday evening host, and this week I will be your Thursday host. So I'm sort of doing a back-to-back review here, fill in for Sam, our Thursday reviewer, a little bit, just a little bit of a miscommunication or whatever. It's one of those weeks, man. It's just one of those weeks. So, and I have no problem filling in. But anyways, I got Wednesday, right? So we're talking, it's 2018, films in 2018. And I thought I would, I just had been wanting to revisit this movie. In fact, it's funny, Mandy, is it Panos, Cosmatos? I think that's how you say it. Forgive the pronunciation. But I've had this film on my shelf. I saw it already some time ago. But when I picked it up on physical media, for whatever reason, I just didn't revisit it then. So I'm not sure if I just rented this out of the Redbox back when, or caught it on Shudder or something. I don't know. I can't remember. But I felt moved enough to pick it up, and probably picked it up at Walmart pretty cheap. But it's a RLJE release. And SpectreVision is the company behind it, which is Elijah Wood's company. He's had his hand in quite a few things. I'm not sure what he's done of late. I hope he's still working. I'm sure he is. I'm not sure off the top of my head what is the latest RLJE films release, or at least under the last thing SpectreVision did. But anyways, Mandy. And with things that aren't necessarily boutique companies, I don't ever expect a slipcase, so that was nice. And I don't usually expect alternative artwork in the inside, but on this particular release, you did, which was kind of cool. So you get that one, which is the one most of you are probably familiar with. But I actually prefer this one. That one is, I just dig it. I just dig it. All right, so the movie, Mandy. Holy crap. Look, I'm, first and foremost, man, I am a podcast junkie, man. I listen to probably more than I ought, but I think it is Hack or Slash podcast. You guys might be familiar. But I listened to their take on this, because this movie is so freaking bizarre. And I say that in a really good way. It is like an artsploitation, high level, I don't know what's that we got so many weird phrases for art-like films, but this is, sort of like an art film plus Nicolas Cage plus LSD plus some beautiful cinematography plus a beautiful protagonist. We'll let our protagonist be Mandy. Although I have thoughts on what I wish they would have done. Andrea Riseborough, I think that's how you say her name. She's got a unique face, and it is hard. And I say this, and I mean I really say it in a good way. It's hard not to look at her. I mean, it's really, she just has a unique. Just a unique look, that's all. And it serves this film pretty well, but it really could have served it even better, I think. So basically, all of that other stuff, it's a revenge film. It's a couple whose lives have just been literally in the middle of the night, literally turned inside out, upside down, in the absolute worst case scenario. You've got a few moving parts here. You've got Nicolas Cage as Red, who's a lumberjack, and when he works, man, he works. He's got to fly in from a helicopter, do his work, gets in a helicopter, flies back, and so we don't learn a lot about the relationship. The first piece of the film does attempt to really do well to just build up sympathy, empathy, and all these things for the plight that this couple is going to be just thrust into. I think it does a really effective. In fact, I think the first half of the movie, or just under, wherever it points, breaks, pivots, is it's one of the most beautiful, engaging films. I mean, I was really engaged just with the relationship aspect and the time they spend together, and in how involved they are with one another. And they're not even, I mean, I shouldn't even say it like that. I was going to say, and they're not even married. You don't have to be married to be that engaged in a relationship. I get that. Just without saying, they are, you get the idea they are very, 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 very connected with each other, and happy for the most part in their solitude, isolated solitude. And to think that even in that perfect environment, chaos can come rolling in through your front door unexpected is a frightening thing. And so it is, this movie, there's some of the LSD trips, man. This movie, man, when it gets rolling, and all of that to say earlier it meets Dante's Inferno, maybe, I think, you're with him for a few seconds, with the title sequence as he's working. You see him on his way back home, and his arrival. Mandy is, I think she's painting. She is an artist. She loves just the idea of letting herself express herself through her painting, her drawings. I don't know. She's just a very, very, very unique. Her character begs for further explanation, because it just seems like it really comes across as there is something a whole lot more there than we're not privy to in terms of her previous life and where she's come from. But she has found solitude and a comfortableness with Red, and he has found it with her. And I think they're the perfect couple. So, which makes everything that's going to happen even that much worse. And really, you have a cult that is taken roots in not very far by. And it just happens to be, Mandy is, I think she's walking to the, like the small little gas station, grocery mart or whatever. She works there, probably just to bring extra income, I don't know. But the cult group is in a van, and they just happen to be passing by. And at first, when she sees the headlights, she's sort of taken back, like she's not used to seeing any traffic on this pathway of a road type trail, which is really meant for cars and people. But as they're passing by, the cult leader, Jeremiah Sand, his eyes connect with her, and you get this sense that what he gets is not reality. It's his they live in a hallucination, this cult group, and it's sort of you get a lot of weird things in this movie: Satanism, Christianity, and this other piece, this cult group, and these demons that are raised up from wherever by the cult group to do their bidding. They have a device, a mechanism in which they blow into, like a whistle of sorts, and the demons rise, and they've got bikes, mortar bikes, and it's like an hallucinogenic nightmare. But they have, apparently, and there's no real discussion exactly how it is they came upon that, or you don't even know if much of this movie is even real, man. Much of the really crazy aesthetics could just be one or two persons' point of view. Jeremiah and how he views the world, eventually for a very short moment, how Mandy views it through hallucinogenic lens, and how Red will see it through a hallucinogenic lens. And so there almost seems like there's an extension of a world that is not reality. It's their reality, but it's not reality. And so when Jeremiah, his eyes connect with hers, it almost reminds me of that scene out of From Dusk Till Dawn, when the one character perceives that the girl is saying things she's not really saying. It's sort of this weird self-perceived reality that's just not right. It's not true. You almost kind of get that with Jeremiah and Mandy, that he sees what's not really there. And because she shows, like, when his one hench girl comes to the store to kind of get an idea where they live, which, by the way, is on Crystal Lake, which is pretty cool. She gets spooked, and so, and you just know, then you get into the cult's little lair, and Jeremiah makes it very well known to anyone and everyone around him, he won't be happy unless he has Mandy. And so his I think his brother Swan will do his bidding for him. You got Richard Brake is in this movie. Bill Duke, man, who is the go-to guy for Red for Nicolas Cage, his character. So that's really cool. But they decide to conjure up these demons, hit the house in the middle of the night. In which case, Jeremiah thinks he's going to abduct Mandy, drug her up in a really bizarre way too. Drug her up, and then add another girl to his concubine list of girls around him. But he makes it well plain he's not going to be happy unless he has Mandy, and so they will absolutely destroy this home, and in the end, it's for nothing, really. Because Mandy, even in her hallucinogenic state, will basically just mock Jeremiah in a really sort of... That is the moment, I think, when you think to yourself, you almost wish the movie would have gone... Okay, I almost wish Mandy would have been a heavy nod to, say, a world somewhere between Black Sunday and The Long Hair of Death. If you've never seen those movies, well, Black Sunday is classic, Mario Bava, but Antonio Margarati's The Long Hair of Death. I wish Mandy's character with her death ends way too soon. There should have been a supernatural extension of her character, even if that extension wasn't, say, grounded in supernatural or just a hallucinogenic world, meaning only, say, Jeremiah and the cult group see her, but really no one else sees her. That could have really been an interesting twist in this whole thing. And if there would have been sort of a Fulcian twist on it, man, have her like as though she came right out of the world of City of the Living Dead, man, but rooted in The Long Hair of Death, man, where she basically, Red does everything he can to avenge, but just can't quite seal the deal, and then she just rises up, man, and just lays waste to this cult group, man. It could have taken this movie to some really crazy ending. It is crazy. I mean, there's a chainsaw fight. There's a really weird gray pasty type hallucinogen that Red will take. We got a mountain of coke that what the demons do outside of their lair of hell or wherever they're from. That is just so many weird aspects to this movie. I really don't know. I mean, the aesthetics are incredible. The cinematography is incredible. It's a beautifully shot movie. I don't know about the illustrations or the animation. I'm not sure what to think about all that. So in a weird way, Mandy's character is sort of extended in that way, but not in a way that her character really gets shortchanged. I mean, shortchanged. Her death scene is insane, I think. And that might be one of the great Nicolas Cage moments in terms of how he perceives and views and sees this unfold. And so once the cult crashes their home, and Mandy ultimately, since she's not going to serve Jeremiah's purposes, which I think is really awesome, even in a hallucinogenic state, she's just not buying in, and she just laughs at him and mocks him, and that just throws him over. And then what they decide to do to her in front of Red is just insane. And then once Red sort of, picks himself up from the ashes, so to speak, he will go meet Bill Duke to get some weapons that, again, he's got a past we're not privy to, which is interesting. Eventually, he'll come along the way of the chemist, which is Richard Brake, who is the guy who... And you got to get this idea that the reason why the cult is the way they are is they got fed a bad batch of LSD, a bad sheet of LSD on purpose, and they've never been the same since. That's a scary thought all by itself. So it's not even like illegitimate rooting in some twisted conception of some religious belief, which has nothing to do with Christianity. He hides behind Christian symbols, absolutely nothing to do with Christianity. And even though if you look at the film in a very surface level way, you wonder if maybe Mandy has had some past in Satanism. I don't think so, but that could have been a really interesting twist, or in terms of this cult group is outside of, say, two norms: Christian norm, Satanist norm, but here comes Mandy out of some other else, kind of on the same as the demon biker gang, right? But anyways, the aesthetics throughout the movie are insane. There's some great kills. The blood flows pretty thick and heavy at times. For the first half of the film, you get you get the type of Jack Nicholson you wish you got more of, and then maybe in the second half you wish you got a little less of. I don't know. I don't think we get enough of the first half of the film, is what I'm saying, of that Jack Nicholson. That was great. I really liked it. I really enjoyed that first half. And then there are aspects of the second half that just sort of go off in these weird places, and you're just sort of like, I don't get it. I mean, I know what I would do if I were behind the lens. But this is this guy's film, and I think in the end, if he achieved what he set out to do, it's a pretty messed up movie, man. Pretty messed up. I'm going to leave it there, man. Mandy is messed up. And I'll say this too. The one thing that keeps from serious repeat viewings is, although you know where it happens at once you've seen it, you get way too much in one scene, way too much of Jeremiah. There's one scene where I saw what I did not want to see, and I'm doing everything to expunge that out of my mind. That was a really unneeded. I don't think it was needed at all. You get a great moment where Mandy is concealed, where we could have seen her completely nude. We don't. We only see from here up as she's, I think, pretty obviously in the lake without anything on. But with Jeremiah, you get the whole thing. And it's weird in contrast. And maybe that works in contrast because it makes you dislike Jeremiah even more. And it makes you sympathize with Mandy even more. And Mandy is a very sympathetic character, I think. But both her and Red have passed that. And Jeremiah, too. There is a little dialogue of story. You do get things in dialogue, which are pretty cool, in terms of backdrop stuff that sort of add to everything. But it's a mind trip, man. It's a mind trip. I don't even know what this movie would be like if you watched it on LSD. That might just send you to the hospital, maybe, perhaps. I don't know. So anyways, we'll leave it there. It is 2018 week. Films all week long. As I said, I'm your fill-in for tomorrow, and that's when I'm going to change gears and go right into here in a moment. Week 555, there was a horror movie. 555, wasn't there? I'm pretty sure there was. It is a Belgium-U.S. film, by the way, this one, Mandy. And by the way, 2018, I'll save it for the next one. But anyways, Mandy. Nutty film. As always, win these things off with Go Bills.
This is not a dream. Not a dream. We might be useful to you.